Thank you and welcome everybody. There's a real cross-section of people here which we hope will provide valuable input for us as we go forward with this consultation process. The Community Strategic Plan is the key long-term planning document that the Council is obliged to produce. It has a 10-year outlook and as you'd understand, it looks at the long-term future of the community. It is called a community strategic plan for a reason, because it's about creating from the community itself, not from people inside the organisation only, but from the community itself, a plan for how the community, the council should develop over that 10-year period. And it'll provide opportunity for strategies and aspirations that the community holds for the development of our communities. So I won't say more than that at this stage, other than to say that the process will be a stepwise one in which we'll start at a very high level and then work through a series of other consultations that will dig down a little deeper into that plan to provide strategies and so on. But I might hand over for a more detailed comment from Des. So thank you everybody for attending, and we look forward to your continued involvement in the process throughout.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor, Chris. So thanks for that. But so the Community Strategic Plan or councils under their legislation have to adopt an integrated planning and reporting strategy, which includes the key document, which is the Community Strategic Plan, or CSP as we get to know it. And as Chris indicated, it's a 10-year document, but it makes reference to a number of other documents that are developed with inside a council, which is our resourcing area. So our asset management plan, our workforce management plan, and our LEP and a couple of other documents that we actually have, our long-term financial plan. But all of those are developed around the aims and aspirations that come out of the Community Strategic Plan. So, and understanding the Community Strategic Plan is actually a document for the community, while council actually writes it up for them, and part of the consultation is to get what are the things that we actually have now, what are the things that should be maintained within the community, and what are the opportunities for advancement of the community now, whether that be by economic development, whether it be by sort of action internally and sort of enhancing the things that we've already got. But the community can talk about all of the factors in their community, and now they may be health, education, safety, emergency management such as policing, etc. While council doesn't necessarily deliver on those areas, we can actually advocate on behalf of the communities for those. So this broad-reaching document will actually, and the ideas that come from all of the community input, will allow a fantastic development over the next 18 months. We'll be able to have a really well-developed document that talks about all of the aspects of the community that we want to enhance in the next 10 years. And from that, council will take out those that we can actually deliver on, and take 4 years of action through our delivery program, and then our annual operating plan that actually comes out of that.
And so just to reiterate what both the Mayor and Des said, that the Community Strategic Plan is a community-led plan. And that's a really important part of this. It's a beginning of this definition, because it is the plan by the community for the community. And that's why this first step in the consultation process is so critical. So the plan identifies the priorities and aspirations of the community. As Des mentioned, it covers a period of 10 years, and it is that overarching strategic plan. It is the sort of at that top level, it's what guides the 4-year delivery program and the 1-year operational plan, as Des mentioned. And it's delivered by council as well as with partners such as federal and state agencies and community organisations. And so why is it important that we get your input here, and why is this plan important? It's because what's included in the CSP, the Community Strategic Plan, leads to tangible change in the community. So a really good example of where your ideas have led to action is in 2017, Council called for expressions of interest to collect the community's ideas for major projects or initiatives that would benefit your local area. And so as a result of this process, we now have many of these ideas being delivered or on their way, including the Barham Skate Park, the Tullybook Menforth Park redevelopment, the Picnic Point redevelopment, the Barham Pavilion, Murray Downs walking and exercise track, and improvements at the Moama Rec Reserve, including a multi-purpose pavilion. And these ideas were called for because they were linked to a part of the previous community strategic plan. So in the previous community strategic plan, the one that's expiring, we had a theme there around the built and physical environment. And the goal there was around that we wanted our built and physical environment to be well planned, connected, safe, and designed to support our communities and industries and businesses. And the specific strategy here that was is to improve and maintain community infrastructure. So because that was a specific strategy, Council called on these expressions of interest, and that led to tangible changes in the community. And so it's really important that we get a diverse array of perspectives on the community strategic plan. We want to hear from as many people as possible because people's perspectives are really important in shaping what the ultimate CSP will look like. And so where are we at in this process? We're in the really early stages of developing the plan. And so you can see here that there are 10 major steps to get us to the point where we're finally adopting the community strategic plan. So here we are, we're in stage 2. In December, there was an early draft created within Council by Council leadership. And that was very early stage thinking, giving a little bit of structure and giving the community something to be able to react to. And that's something that we're going to go through at the moment in this process. And so we're going to gather community input to that step 2. Then what happens next is that we take everyone's inputs and we refine the draft within Council. So we analyze everything that we've captured through this process and see what changes need to take place in the plan. We then will display the draft plans again to the public for more input. And then we'll finalise the draft CSP for the incoming council. Our new councillors will be elected in September 2021. And then the councillors will provide their own input on the CSP around October. Then we'll gather the final community input on the plan in early 2022. And once we take everyone's perspectives, finalise the last elements of the plan, we display those plans to the public for the last round of input. And then we finalise the community strategic plan and it's adopted in June 2022. So really we're at such an early stage in the process. And why we want to communicate this is it's really important to note that this is not just we're putting the plans up for you to sort of approve and tick off and keep moving. There are a lot of different points along the way where we're going to ask for the community's input. And there are a lot of different points on where that input is going to shape this ultimate plan. And so every stage where we ask for input is really critical for the final product that we create with this community strategic plan. And so what is this draft plan that we have at the moment? So there are a couple of key components when I mentioned that in step 1, you'll see here, step 1, there was that create the early stage draft. So this is what we're taking to you as part of this process. And so there are a couple of different components in this draft community strategic plan. And we're going to go through each of these in turn, but I wanted to explain a little bit about what each of these components are. So firstly, we have a purpose statement. And that's really the why council exists, why we exist and why we do what we do. Then there's the 10-year aspiration statement. So another way of thinking about this is a bit of a game plan or what the community want to see change over the next 10 years. And so that's really our long range view of what we want to see change and develop over the next 10 years. And then finally, there are some strategic themes, and these are our areas of focus. So we're looking at that 10-year aspiration as where we want to get to, and the strategic themes translate that into the different areas that we're going to focus on in order to bring that aspiration to life. And so this is what our early stage draft looks like. And I'm going to take us through each of these elements in turn. So no need to read all of this at the moment. I'm going to take us through them step by step. So firstly, our draft purpose statement. The purpose statement here that we're working with at the moment is the enable a healthy, livable and prosperous community. So this is really at the top why we're doing what we're doing. Next, we have the 10-year aspiration, and that's to create a thriving community within River Country where people want to live, visit, and invest by working with businesses, community groups, and neighbouring councils, as well as advocating the needs of community with governments. So that really paints a picture of, in the next 10 years, where we want to get to. And then we have our strategic themes. And so these themes are our built environment, our natural environment, our people, our economy, and our leadership. And so let's take a look at the goals that are, these next here are the goals. So let's take a look at those in turn as well. So within the theme of our built environment, the goal that gives us a focus in terms of what we're looking to do specifically around the theme of built environment. We develop a well-planned built environment that provides for future growth and investment, which supports our existing community, businesses, and visitors. When it comes to the theme for our natural environment, the goal here is we value our natural environment that is accessible, sustainable, well-managed, and healthy. For the theme of our people, we enable our people to experience a healthy, inclusive, culturally rich lifestyle through services, facilities, and community activities. The theme of our economy. We aspire to have a prosperous economy where traditional and new industries have opportunity for future growth and investment. And for the theme of our leadership, we provide leadership and governance that meets the changing needs of our diverse community. And so when we talk about input, community consultation, what do we actually mean? And I think for some people, we've got sort of some sample sort of fictional quotes here to give you a sense of the kind of input that we're looking for. So it might be that some of the language isn't clear enough. And so we want to make sure that when someone picks up the plan, they can really understand all of the words in it. So if there are things that aren't quite clear or that don't make sense, we really want to know about that. So you might ask for clarification on certain things. You might want to suggest ideas, or you want to see something different. You want to see something change. You want to see some ideas that are specific to particular groups who you observe as needing particular kinds of support from council. You might have ideas or you want to see more different community groups being involved in different ways. So this is the kind of thing that we're really wanting to get. So it's not just about specific, it might be specific ideas that you have, but it also could be the kind of community that you want to see. What's not being captured in this plan? Are people being excluded? Different areas or industries being excluded? We want to know about that. And so when we're thinking about input, it's a really broad range of different ways that we can get your perspective.
Look, one of the things that strikes me about this process is that in a very tiny way, COVID-19 has provided a silver lining for us, and that is that so many more people in our footprint and elsewhere in the country have become much more digitally aware and competent than they ever have been before. And that, of course, facilitates this kind of consultation. And when you compare the number of people that we may be able to involve in this process to the process of going around physically and talking to people in each community, we're probably going to reach more people this way than we did through turning up at town halls and the like. So we've got to make the best use of it, though. And the key to that usage is not just these kinds of engagements, but the use of that Your Say Murray River, the Your Say Murray River website. And to reiterate Giselle's words, it will reach its potential only if each one of us and everybody you meet is encouraged to use it, and we spread the word that this is a very active engagement process that will capture ideas for the CSP. This is the longest planning process I've been aware of for the CSP development. and I think it has the potential, therefore, to capture and synthesise a direction for us over the next 10 years in a way that we never have before. So I want to thank everybody who's been involved so far, and we'll all be involved as much as we can. I know Des and I will be to facilitate this process further. So thanks again, and please spread the word, stay in touch. And if anybody wants to get involved in this particular process in the coming iterations, encourage them to do so.